All right, welcome back. Quick check-in on the markets. Dow just kind of middling around, same as when we started the hour, down 50. Bitcoin down 20, so they're kind of like even Steven here, not a lot going on. Do want to check in on a couple of single stocks that I've been talking about for quite some time. Nike, as I mentioned to you, I think it's going to continue to dive. I think it's a great short. And when I spoke about Nike a couple of weeks back, it was $99. And I said, I think moms who control the pocketbook and the spending when back to school season comes, they're going to look at those Nikes, they're going to look at those Under Armours and those Adidas, and they're going to say, I'm not with Nike anymore. I'm getting Under Armour for my son or daughter. I'm getting Adidas. And I think that's going to have a significant effect on Nike's market cap and their price. Nike down 3 points over the last 2 weeks since we started talking about it. And another one that I mentioned in the last segment, Overstock.com, I worked the company in different capacities for almost 15 years. The stock was $4 a few months ago. Today, checking in, kicking it real at $52. And really benefiting from a new marketing campaign. They got some younger people there. They're running some cooler commercials. And the corona has had a tremendously positive effect on them. And you know, you got a stock like Wayfair that sells $15,000 cabinets that allegedly come back to SKU numbers on other sites that have kids' names on. I don't even know, but I'd keep my eye on Overstock if I were you because it's a nice-looking stock. Keep your eyes on the prize right now when we bring in our regular Money Monday guest. Fernando Uribe is with us. Fernando is the host of Politically Direct on Insider NJ, also a faculty member at Bergen Community College. And here today to talk to us, firstly, about my favorite sport up until now. Most popular sport in the U.S., Fernando, is football. And this whole racial injustice stuff, no fans. This could be a serious moment for the NFL. What do you think?
Absolutely, John. And as we're trying to get back to some sense of normalcy this week with Major League Baseball returning, thank goodness, certainly the NBA the week after. But this fall, as you said, it's the most popular sport in the United States, and that's the NFL. And right now, I think that the hierarchy, starting with Commissioner Roger Goodell and even the owners, all 32 owners collectively, have a little bit of an impasse here when it comes to the political and social climate. They certainly want to acquiesce to their players and be sensitive to the needs of the Black community, which comprises a large portion of their rosters. But by the same token, it's all about, the marketplace. It's all about consumers. And we saw in 2016 with the entire Colin Kaepernick situation that many fans started getting a little salty on the NFL. And I think right now what you're seeing with the NFL coming up now in September with no fans in the stands, I think it's collectively been agreed upon by the entire league. You're going to see revenues go down. You'll see the salary cap go down. And as a result, you might see player salaries go down. And subsequently, that's going to hurt everybody in the sport, but more so whether or not some players are going to take it to the extent of putting BLM movement logos on their jerseys or anything, whether it's on their person at all. I think this is something that could be really problematic for the NFL because some people just want to see sports. They don't want to see politics in their sports. And I think it's something that could really turn off a lot of people along very different demographics, John.
Fernando, I'm totally with you. I mean, I'm absolutely disgusted by the actions of the NFL and the NBA. I mean, I want to throw up. I was never a big basketball fan. I didn't even want my son to play basketball because I know he was not going to be 7 feet tall, so I wanted him to focus on other sports. But I can't even watch NBA. Nonetheless, they're going to start putting, symbols on people's jerseys and political, social injustice. It's like, for me, it's like way too much. I'd rather not watch it at all and not care about it. But before we go to our next topic, I got to bring this to your attention. Breaking news somebody sent it to me, North Brunswick, New Jersey. North Brunswick, New Jersey shooting. Suspected gunman allegedly found dead. I talked about earlier in the show this judge who was overseeing the Epstein Deutsche Bank case. Her son and husband were shot in her doorway by a guy dressed in a FedEx uniform. And wouldn't you believe it, the alleged shooter has been found dead, according to Eyewitness News. And the suspect allegedly, much like Jeffrey Epstein, the suspect now died by suicide.
Well, John, yes. Listen, last night I heard the same story, and it really, I think, it reverberated throughout the entire news cycle because it reminds us about a lot of the shady characters in this sort of drama involving Jeffrey Epstein and his ex-girlfriend, who is now in custody. And again, my prayers go out to the judge's family. I know that her husband is in critical condition. The passing of her son is tragic, but when you think about how deep this Epstein case goes. Again, you have to worry about everyone that's involved, whether it's people that work in corrections or in the judiciary. Like really, no one's under any sort of safety protocols, and it's a concern.
Yeah, I mean, I was just, saying it earlier, but we got, the cops are under attack in all blue cities across the country. You could beat up cops, you could hit them with bricks, you could smash them with baseball hats, and nobody's being brought to justice on this stuff. In New York and other sanctuary cities, there's cashless bail now. So even if you do get brought in for something, you walk in, they hand you a piece of paper, and they let you go. If it devolves to the point where these criminals are going to the homes of judges, our whole system could collapse.
Absolutely. And John, it's a reminder that at the national level, you have a guy running for president who is the nominee of the Democratic Party, who has yet to denounce any of the irresponsible behavior by governors and by mayors in these blue states and cities. And, speaking of breaking news, I just saw a poll today in the Wall Street Journal that Joe Biden is polling at an abysmal 22% with young voters. Of course he is. He's not inspiring. He's not taking any leadership. And listen, I get it. People want to go after the president's leadership. I get all that. But right now, it seems like everyone's looking at Joe Biden as a savior. And John, he just isn't. I mean, you look at his past record as a U.S. senator, you look at him as a vice president, it's not very inspiring. And now we're supposed to believe after 50 years in government and public service that now Joe Biden's going to suddenly fix all of the country's problems. It's lunacy. And for people that are liberals or progressives or even, staunch Democrats, to think that someone like Joe Biden, who should be denouncing these practices, Joe Biden should be on a podium right now denouncing blue states and blue cities because of how irresponsible they're being, the way they're treating police officers, the way they're letting just recklessness run rampant in their cities and states. I think it's an abomination, and it's a reminder why 4 years, 4 months, or 4 minutes is something we cannot live with concerning Joe Biden in this country, John.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you, brother. And lost in the shuffle with all everyday coronavirus, attacking the president, all this other stuff. Joe Biden came out with this whole manifesto of platform of all the things he's going to go for, right? And I'm doing some math on that because I want to try to break it down to the actual monetary toll on each American. I'm not there yet, but he's talking about, again, raising the capital gains tax back to 35%. Right now we're at 21%. So that's nearly a 50% increase. He also wants to increase the death tax, which you work your whole life to create an estate to leave to your family and a legacy for everyone else. And now they want to take 40% of that money, which you've already been taxed on over the course of your life. I don't think people are actually looking. I saw a poll, I don't remember the numbers the other day, where they were saying that most of the people who are voting for Joe Biden are not excited to vote for Joe Biden. I think 56% of the people who said they're voting for Joe Biden said they're voting against Donald Trump, not for Joe Biden, which is like a strange reason to vote for someone. You know what I mean?
Absolutely, John. And again, it's a reminder for all of us that the Democratic Party, and more specifically the very liberal and progressive base, just seems to be intellectually bankrupt when it comes to discussing these issues. When it comes to math, I've never met a Democrat that's never fell in love with a tax that's come across his or her desk. You see liberals and progressives pushing these identity politics type of narrative, or social engineering, or the idea that for some reason they failed high school biology and they don't realize that there's only two genders, or the idea they have to stuff political correctness down our throats. It's something that is really alarming, John. And when you think about the election less than 100 days away, I'm hoping the president and his team, his new team, can get it together when it comes to a message and it comes to a platform, because we're seeing the economy pick up a little bit, and that's going to help him.
Yep.
But more importantly, it's about the president calling out Joe Biden and how, let's be honest, how inept he's been in public service for 50 years.
Yeah, I don't understand why people think all of a sudden he's going to be the guy who fixes everything when he's been in business for 45 years. We got to leave it there, man. Thank you so much. I think this all started years ago when sanctuary city mayors started saying it's okay to not put a sex on your kid's birth certificate. And I think that's part of what's growing on us now. And it sounds pretty simple. You pull down the diaper, you look what's there. It's either a boy or a girl, and then the kid can figure out. The kid can figure out what they are as they grow into life. And but it's getting crazy about a minute. Thanks for being there like a rock for us every Monday, brother, and feel better.
Thanks, John.
That's Fernando Uribe. He's a faculty member at Bergen Community College and the host of Politically Direct on Insider NJ. Quick break. More news of the day and a liquid lunch for you right after this.